Today, we're going to dive into a brand new policy that's designed to supercharge the real backbone of Telangana's economy, its small businesses.
All right, let's start with a big number, 2.6 million. That's the estimated number of micro, small, and medium enterprises, or as we'll call them, MSMEs, that are powering Telangana's economy right now.
And look, when we say MSMEs, don't just picture a factory floor. We're talking about everything, from your local bakery to a neighborhood repair shop, all the way to those innovative tech startups that are building our future. They're the true engine of the state's economy.
So, first things first, let's get a better picture of who these entrepreneurs actually are and the absolutely huge role they play.
You know, what's really striking when you look at the data is the sheer diversity of ownership. Almost half of all these businesses are run by entrepreneurs from scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. That shows a really broad, really inclusive foundation.
And here's where the story gets really compelling. Get this. Between 2020 and 2023, a time of massive economic challenges for everyone, Telangana's MSMEs showed incredible resilience. Just look at the comparison to other big industrial states. They had the lowest number of business closures by a long shot. These entrepreneurs, they know how to weather a storm.
And that resilience, that toughness, it brings up the critical question at the very heart of this new policy. If they're so good at surviving, what's holding them back from truly thriving?
So the government has pinpointed 6 major roadblocks, the big things that are keeping these amazing survivors from becoming thrivers.
Okay, let's break these down real quick. These 6 hurdles are the core problems the 2024 policy is built to solve. And you know what? It all really boils down to one simple word: access. Access to land, to money, to skilled people, and to customers.
So first up is access to land. And this is a huge issue, especially around the capital city. About 40% of these small businesses are clustered near Hyderabad. What does that mean? It means they're facing sky-high land costs and super restrictive zoning rules. It makes it almost impossible for a small business to find an affordable place to set up shop and grow.
And then there's the money. Access to finance. And wow, these numbers really tell a story. Can you imagine going to a bank for a loan and being told you need to put up collateral that's double the value of what you're asking for? On top of that, a staggering 81% of the smallest businesses have to wait more than 3 months just to get paid for their work. That just chokes off the cash flow they desperately need to survive.
Okay, so those are the challenges, and they're pretty big ones, right? Now, let's get to the good part, the roadmap that's been designed to clear these hurdles and pave a new way forward. So, to tackle that land problem, the policy is calling for the creation of 10 brand new industrial parks, and these will even have dedicated spaces for women entrepreneurs and startups. Plus, it's introducing subsidies and a new leasing scheme to make getting that physical space way more affordable.
And what about that funding gap? Well, the policy introduces some really smart modern financial tools. One is called reverse factoring. Think of it this way. Instead of a small business waiting months for a big client to pay up, a bank pays them right away, and then the bank collects the money from the big client later. Boom, cash flow problem solved. There's also a pilot for revenue-based financing, which lets businesses get loans based on their future sales, not the property they own.
But it's not just about land and money. The policy also dives headfirst into labor issues. It's all about helping businesses find the skilled workers they need and creating more flexible, productive work environments. We're talking about things like promoting worker housing near industrial parks, making it easier for women to join the industrial workforce, and even allowing more businesses to operate 24/7.
Okay, so we've got the solutions laid out. But you and I both know a plan is just a piece of paper without a solid way to actually make it happen. So let's look at how they plan to turn these ideas into real action. The success of this whole thing is going to be measured by 4 key outcomes. See, the goal isn't just about economic growth for its own sake. It's about building an entire ecosystem that's more advanced, more productive, and frankly, a lot fair for everyone involved.
And this part is absolutely crucial. These aren't just vague, feel-good ideas. They are tied to specific, measurable targets. We're talking a 10% jump in their contribution to the state's economy, a 20% increase in jobs, and a real focus on making sure 30% of those new jobs go to women from marginalized communities. That's how you measure real progress.
So who's in charge of making all this happen? Well, they've set up a 2-part structure to keep things on track. There's a high-level steering committee to watch the big picture, and then there's a dedicated MSME wing for direct on-the-ground support for these businesses.
And the actual work gets broken down into 3 really practical streams. Stream 1 is all about getting the money and infrastructure in place. Stream 2 creates a digital system so businesses can report problems and get help fast. And Stream 3 is all about direct support, bringing in experts to actually guide and train the entrepreneurs themselves.
All right, let's bring this all home. Why does any of this matter? Why is this more than just another government document?
Well, for starters, they're backing this plan with some very serious money. Over the next 5 years, the government is committing 4,000 crores to this. The goal is to lift up 25,000 new entrepreneurs and help even the tiniest businesses get on board with the technology of Industry 4.0.
Ultimately, when you boil it all down, this entire policy is about one thing: a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about moving businesses from a state of just scraping by, of just surviving, to a position where they can truly, genuinely thrive. The big vision is to make Telangana one of the absolute best places in the entire country to start and grow a small business.
So the policy provides the roadmap. The vision is crystal clear, the money is there, and the structure is in place. The big question now is whether these ambitious plans can be turned into a reality that changes the game for millions of entrepreneurs all across the state.